What have those three solos got in common?
Low to high.
Exactly. Starting low, aiming high. I've talked about this on a couple of different occasions, talked about it in my course, but it is such an effective way of structuring a guitar solo. And all guitar players, myself included, get lost on occasion and don't know where to start a solo or where to end the solo. And if you're a little bit lost and you want some like easy little hacks or kind of like cheat sheet, start low, aim high. And the reason being, when you're playing a guitar solo or you're playing just guitar generally, or you're writing a song, whatever you're doing, you're telling a story. Whether it's literally with words, if you're writing, you know, the melody and lyrics, or whether it's something without words, like a guitar solo. You're taking people on a journey, you're building a narrative, and you're telling a story. If you're writing a book or you're reading a book, odds on it doesn't tell you who the killer is in the first 3 sentences of the book. Don't tell people who the killer is. Don't start your guitar solo with, at least not all the time. That Paul Davis solo, if I try and play that backwards, or try and start high and aim low, it sounds a bit weird. So, there wasn't too much wrong with it, but it just felt like, nah, you've started at your highest point with the neck, and you've worked your way pretty much to the lowest point. It's kind of just fallen off a cliff. It's kind of started here, and gone, and not really told anyone anything or said anything interesting. If you start there, and you go, and build and build and build in the right direction, it tells a narrative, it builds a story, it says something interesting. So, cheat sheet 1, if you're looking to build a guitar solo, start low, aim high. Don't always do it. I probably overuse it, to be honest, but it's a nice little way to kind of construct things and say something interesting without getting too caught up in kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to go. Just playing the pentatonic nonsense. Secondly, don't be afraid to repeat yourself. Something I do all of the time. That little lick. Wait for it. Exactly the same. About 3 seconds later, exactly the same lick. 2 options as to why I did that. First, I'm lazy and I very quickly ran out of ideas. Or I want to give people something to wrap their ear around, something that they recognise because I played it a few seconds earlier. It's a melody, it's a vocal melody. If you're singing a chorus in a song, you sing the same melody every time. You don't sing a different melody every time the chorus comes around because you want people to recognise the chorus. You want them to sing the chorus along with you. So if you start doing different stuff every time, it totally defeats the point of it. That lick there, again. What do I do when we build halfway point? Same lick again, so that's 3 times. 4 times. 4 times in the course of a 30-second solo, I've used the same little lick. The reason being, it gives people something to wrap their ear around, like I said. It's recognisable because I've just done it. It instills a confidence to the listener. They're like, oh, he knows what he's doing because he's using little repeated patterns. Guitar players, all of us are very guilty of, we'll play an idea and we'll go, oh, we've done that, I've done that, what's next? And we'll move on. 99% of the time, there is more meat on the bones of what you've just played than you've probably given yourself credit for. And you've just moved on in sheer panic as much as anything else. I repeat myself all the time. Something like the Mournful solo, which I'll play in a minute, the opening of that solo. 3 times, same lick. 3rd third time it ends in a slightly different way. It gives it a bit of a kind of contrast, I guess, to what I've just done. Every solo I do, I will repeat myself countless times throughout it. And it's not because I'm lazy or I'm lacking in ideas, although there is a degree of that probably. It's because it helps tell a story. It creates something melody that all the time people come up to me and go, oh, that Paul David solo, and they will hum it back to me. And if I can play a guitar solo that people can hum, I've done my job. If I create guitar solos where you can't hum it because it's too fast or it's just a jumble of notes that are not connected together, I'm not particularly doing my job very well. And then lastly, and this is probably the most important if you're looking to kind of build solos, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, A, B, tick, tock, back and forth, tick, tock, question, answer, A, B. Every solo I do, I kind of split into two kind of parts as I'm doing it. So, if you think of it as a question and answer, that's the easiest way to do it. Question. That's the question. What's your answer? Short little answer. Question. I mean, if any chord in the world sounds like an actual musical question, it's that. What's your answer? Question. Yeah. Answer. Kind of answer the question there with a bit of a question in its own right. And then, all ends that ends well. Slightly long answer to finish the solo. Ask the question and then find a way to answer it. Take a lick, take out of that Paul David solo for a second. Play something random. If you go, it's a question. Your answer might be question. Answer. Split things into A, B, question, answer, tick, tock. It doesn't matter how you kind of think of it while you're doing it, but it gives things a structure. And what you avoid then is just it ending up in a jumble of like all this kind of stuff that we just run because why would you not run it? You're told as a guitar player that you were playing shapes and boxes and scales and modes and all of this kind of stuff. Another common question I get is people kind of struggling as though they're feeling like they're stuck in a box. How do you get out of the box? I guess I never really felt like I was stuck in a box in order to try and have to climb out of the box. And the way that I do that is that I visualise the guitars running that way. It's such a weird instrument to play. You play it sat up or standing up or sat down on your lap and you look at the guitar like that. And because we think of modes and shapes and boxes and scales, you think of the guitar kind of like being this kind of like section, or this section, or this section, and everything is interconnected in that way. It's not, it runs low to high, like a piano, like a violin, like a cello, whatever. It's just the way it's laid out and the way you look at it makes it slightly strange to kind of understand. So, take something super simple like C major scale. Firstly, learn to play that C major scale on one string. Then start trying to say something interesting using one string. I do that all the time, just sat at home noodling around, trying to say something melodic, trying to say something pretty or interesting or musical, just using one string. And it gets you out of this mindset of the guitar running that way, and it makes you start thinking about it running that way instead. That kind of makes sense. Anyone else kind of